Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Moltrap here, coming at you with the ace match of Air Force versus STX Seoul. Should be a very fun match here. We're going to have Anytime versus Julyzerg, and, you know, I feel a little bit worried for Air Force right now, because, if you went back to, like, previous Pro League seasons, and you looked at their scores, they had, they just had really low record. They had a really bad record. But if you'd gone back and gone to all those situations where it went to an ace match, they lost every single one of those, I think. Maybe they won one sometime, but a couple times. But they always would lose the ace match. And so it's like if they were capable, obviously, of taking it at least to an ace match, of winning a couple games, but they could never quite close it out. And so Air Force started off with 2-0, started off with 2 wins in this set, and I thought they were going to maybe sweep. I thought Anytime was going to be able to clean it up and kill off Calm and sweep for the first time in a long time. Some of them said they swept Eastro previous season or something like that. But then STX came back with 2 wins and tied it up. Now we're at the ace match. Julyzerg being put in, obviously being saved for the ace match. He was probably practicing specifically for this match as the ace, because he wasn't in any of the previous games, so they probably had him as their ace, practicing just in case it got to a Game 5, practicing this map and whatever possible matchups it may have been on this map. So anyway, so Julyzerg are probably a lot more prepared for this match than Anytime is. But we'll have to see what Anytime can pull out here. We already saw Anytime lose a PVT earlier. By the way, this map is God's Garden, which is, in case you are familiar with it, it's the one that's kind of like a 4-player Loki. You've got an expansion down below your base, and then behind your base you've also got another expansion that's on low ground, but it's kind of like an island thing. So I wouldn't be, on maps like this, it's an option for Protoss to go 1-gate tech, because they can block their ramp and still take an expansion pretty easily. I mean, you do the forged fast expand so that you can get your expansion up pretty quickly, but he might not decide to do that, or he could theoretically go for a forged fast expand. Although it looks like he has put his pylon in his base, so he's probably not going to. But he could. It's also an option to go for a forge fast expand, and then you have that third base behind your base, just in case. But probably he's going to go for a 1-gate tech or something like that, and then get an expansion later on, because you can have that hidden expansion. Now that does make the expansion vulnerable to. Yeah, there's the 1 gateway within his base. That's exactly what he's going to do. It makes that third expansion a little bit vulnerable to drops later in the game, but it is easy to take that third expansion. What we're probably going to see in this case is the Zerg is going to be able to take 3 bases very easily. Julyzerg's going to take that third base with his third hatchery. So sometimes when the third base is harder to hold, the Zerg player has to put their third hatchery just in their base. And yeah, there's Anytime putting down a quick expansion in that protected natural behind his base there. Yeah, so Julyzerg is setting out his third drone for his third hatchery right now, and he's going to put it on that protected expansion. So, Zerg, it's very easy on this map for Zerg to get 3 bases pretty quickly, and they're all gas. So 3 gas Zerg right off the bat, which, usually Zerg have to fight for that third gas or try and secure farther, less protected expansion, whereas in this case, on this map, they just have 1 choke point, and they can protect all 3 bases with that 1 choke point. And it looks like, oh, never mind, I thought that I saw blood on the ground, but it was just the edge of the spawning pool. It looked like blood. Anyway, so I thought maybe a drone had died to the probe. But Anytime is going to get that expansion up fairly quickly, and he's also going to be able to start teching fairly quickly. So, and Julyzerg getting his gas down. Now, what that means is that if Julyzerg goes for kind of a normal build, and goes for the 3 hatcheries, and then his lair and his spire, and then 4 hatcheries or something like that, then it goes for, it's kind of a macro build, then Anytime will actually have a tech advantage over him, because he's going to get his tech up a lot quicker, because he doesn't have to worry about the forge and cannons. quite as much. Yeah, he's already got his core down here, whereas he would just probably be getting his gateway up now if it was a normal Forge Fast Expand build. Anyway, so anytime it's going to be pretty ahead of tech, so that might force Julyzerg to get earlier tech. He might even have to get a den before getting that Spire, because the Corsairs might be out a little bit too quickly. Probe does get hunted down and killed, so he's not going to be able to... you know what? I think I saw that. I was looking at the expansions wrong. So actually, Julyzerg's natural expansion that's exposed, with his one choke point, is actually the one to the right of his base. Sorry, I've only seen one or two games on this map so far, so I'm not completely familiar with it yet. But I should have known that, because it is, like I said, similar layout to Loki. But the initial hatchery expansion that Julyzerg put down was actually a protected one. So playing it a little bit safe there. By getting that protected expansion in case he needed to hold his ramp against a 2-gate rush or something like that. And yeah, so there's Julyzerg getting his den out a little bit quicker, and someone pointed out actually in the game with Anytime versus Calm, I believe, one of those games, that I was like, oh, I don't know why he went for early Hydralisks. Oh, maybe that was Savior versus someone. Anyway, someone pointed out that Quick Tech forces you to get that den to protect against Corsairs, so I didn't realize that before for some reason. But Savior, seeing that this is a quicker tech build, he knows he has to get out some... not Savior, Julyzerg, seeing that this is quicker tech, knows he has to get some stuff out earlier, and we're actually seeing some Sair DT. And the Overlords are probably not upgraded with speed yet, because I don't know if his lair is probably going up, but it may not even be up yet. So it's going to be difficult, but actually Anytime might be in a little bit of trouble here. Julyzerg coming in here with a little bit of a quick attack. We could see a very quick end to this series right now. Anytime having to pull probes off. He's got a single Corsair out. Anytime looking a little bit concerned there as Zerglings come up his ramp. Probes coming off the line to try and battle these Zerglings, but there are Hydralisks to back up the Zerglings as well. This is horrible. This is looking really, really bad for Anytime, but